Hello everyone. Today I want to practice reading skill in English about the GDP. The reason I to practice reading in GDP mean good distribution medicinal product and material product because that related my job. Okay, the content I want to practice today, the good distribution practice for medicinal products. Uh, mm, this part receipt. Today we study about the ten vehicles and equipment. 10.1 vehicles and equipment used to distribute, stores, handle medicinal products should be suitable for their purpose and proprietary, equipped to prevent exposure of the products to conditions that should affect their stability and packaging integrity and to prevent contaminations of any kind. The design and use of vehicles and equipment must aim to minimize the risk of errors and permit effective cleaning and or maintenance to avoid contamination built up of dust of dirt or any adverse effect on the quality of the medicinal products being distributed. Appropriate cleaning should be performed, checked and recorded. Where feasible, consideration should be given to added technology such as global positioning system, GPS, electronic tracking device, engines queue put into vehicle, which should enhance the security of the medicinal products while in the vehicle. Dedicated vehicle and equipment should be used where possible when handling medicine product. Where non-dedicated vehicle and equipment are used, procedures should be in place to ensure that the quality of the medicinal products will not be promised. Vehicle equipment and container should be selected and assessed appropriate to ensure that medicinal products and medicinal material are stored under equipment condition during transportation. Procedures should be in place to ensure that the integrity of the products is not compromised during transportation. Where third-party carrier are used, distributor should develop joint agreement with carriers to ensure that appropriate measures are taken to safeguard medicinal products, including maintaining appropriate documentation and record. Such agreement should be in line with regulation requirement. Defective vehicle and equipment should not be used and should able be labeled as such or removed from service. Vehicle container and equipment should be kept clean and dried and free from accumulated waste. Organization in charge of distribution must ensure that vehicle use are cleaned regularly. Vehicle containers and equipment should be kept free from rodents, vermin, birds, and other pests. There should be written programs and record to such as pest control, the cleaning and fumigation agent should you not have any adverse effect on product quality. Equipment chosen and used for the cleaning of vehicle should not constitute or short of a contamination agent used for the cleaning of the vehicle should be approved by the management. Special attention should be paid to the design, use, cleaning, and maintenance of all the equipment used for the handling of the medicinal products which are not protected shipment carton or cases. Where special storage conditions, etc., temperatures, or related humidity, different from or limiting the expected environmental condition or equipment during transportation, they should be provided, checked, monitored, and recalled. All monitoring record should be keep a meaning of the shelf life or the product distributed, plus 1 year as required by law. Record monitor data should be made available and inspection by the regulatory or another oversight body. Equipment should for monitoring condition, etc., temperature or humidity within vehicle and container should be calibrated at regular intervals. Vehicle and container should be of sufficient capacity to allow the orderly storage of the various categories of the medicinal products during transportation, where possible. Where possible, mechanisms should be available to allow the circulation during the transit or rejected, record, and return medicinal product as well as though suspected of the being counterfeit. Such goods should be securely packaged, clearly labeled, and accompanied by appropriate supporting documentation. Measures should be in place to prevent unauthorized persons from entering in or tampering with vehicle and or equipment as well as to prevent the theft and misappropriation thereof. Medicinal products should be stored and distributed in shipment containers that have no adverse effect on the quality of the product and that offer adequate protection from external influence, including contamination. Shipping containers should bear label providing sufficient information on handling and storage condition and precaution to what? Sorry. Measures should be in place to prevent unauthorized person from entering and tampering with vehicle and equipment, as well as to prevent the theft, misappropriation. Therefore, medicinal products should be stored and distributed in shipment containers that have no adverse effect on the quality of the products and thus offer adequate protection from internal fluences, including contamination. Shipping containers should bear label providing sufficient information on handling and storage condition and precaution to ensure that the products are properly handled and secure at all times. The shipment container should enable identification of the container's content and source. The needs for any special transport and or storage condition should be stated on a shipment container label. If the medicinal product and interdict of the transfer to area outside of the control or manufacturer products management system, the name and address of manufacturer, special transport condition, and any special legal equivalent included. Safely symbol should also be included on the container label. Normalized internationally and nationally accepted abbreviations, names, and codes should be used in labeling of the shipment containers. Special care should be taken when using dry ice in shipment containers. In addition to safety issue, it must be ensured that the medicinal product does not come into contact with the dry ice. It many have an adverse effect on the quality of the product. Return procedures should be available for the handling and damaged and or broken shipment containers. Particular attention should be paid to those containing potentially toxic and hazardous products dispatched and received. Medicinal products should only be sold and or distributed to persons or entities that are authorized to acquire such products in accordance with applicable regulations. Floor written proof and such authority must be obtained prior to distribution or products to such person or entities. Prior to dispatch of the medicinal products, the supplier should ensure that the person or entities, etc., the contract sector or transportation of the medicinal products aware of the medicinal products to be distributed and compliant with the appropriate storage and transport conditions. Written procedures for the dispatch and medicinal products should be established. Such as procedures should take into account the name, the natures of the products, as well as many special precautions to be observed. Medicinal products under quarantine will require release for dispatch by the person responsible for quality. Record for the dispatch of the medicinal products should be prepared and should include at least the following information: date of dispatch, complete business name and just no alarm name, types of entity respond for the transportation, telephone number and names of contact person, complete business name, address, no pronouns, and status of the address, etc. Retail, pharmacies, hospital, community clinic. Descriptions of the products, including etc. name, dosage, form, and strength, if applicable. Quality of the products, etc., number of the containers, and quality per container, if applicable. Applicable transport and storage conditions. A unique number to allow the identification of the delivery order and the record dispatch should contain enough information to enable traceability of the medicinal products, such as record should facilitate and record the batch of products. Sorry, I think I should to click in my classes. Okay. Medicinal traceability. Okay. Delivery schedule should be established and routes planned, taking local needs and conditions into account. Such schedule and plan should be realistic and systematic. Security risks should be also be taken into account when planning the schedule of the delivery. Care should be taken to ensure that the volume of medicinal products ordered does not exceed the capacity of storage facilities at the destination. Vertical containers should be loaded carefully and systematically where applicable on a first out and last in basis to save time when unloading, prevent physical damage and reduce the security risks. Extra care should be taken during loading and unloading of the carton to avoid damage. Medicinal products should not be supplied or received after their expiry date or so close to the expiry date that this date is likely to be reached before the products are used by the consumer. Incoming shipment should be examined to verify the integrity of the container closure system, ensure that tapper evidenced packaging features and intact, that labeling appear intact. Transportation 13. Transportation of product transit. Product shipment should be secured and include the appropriate documentation of facility identification and verification on compliance with the regulatory equivalent. Policies procedures should be followed by all the persons involved in the transportation to secure medicinal products. The people responsible for the transportation of the medicinal products should be informed about all the relevant conditions of storage and transportation. The requirement should be adhered to throughout transportation and at any intermediate storage stages. Medicinal products should be stored and transported to accordance with procedures such as that the identity and of the product is not lost. The product does not contamination are not contaminated by other products. Adequate precautions are taken against leakage, breakage, and disappropriation and theft. Appropriate environment conditions are maintained etc. using cold change and thermolabile properties. The equipment storage condition and for medicinal products should be maintained within acceptable limit during transportation. If the deviation has been noticed during the transportation by the personal entity responsible for transportation, this should be reported to the distributor and recipient. In cases where the recipients noticed the deviation, should be reported to the distributor. Where necessary, the manufacturers of the medicinal products should be contacted for information about the appropriate steps to be taken. Where special conditions are equipment during transportation that are different from or limited given environmental condition, etc., temperature and humidity, they should be provided by the manufacturer on the label, monitored and recorded. Transportation and storage of medicinal products containing hazardous substances such as toxic, radioactive material and other dangerous medicinal products presenting special risk of abuse, fire exclusion, etc., combustible or flammable, liquid, solid, pressurized gases should be stored in a safe, dedicated, and secure area. The transported in safe, suitably blend, designed, secure, and container and variable. In addition, the requirement of the applicable international gradient and laws should be met. Products contain narcotics and other dependents, product substance, psychotropic, and precursors should be transported in a safe and secure container and variable of and be stored in safe and secure area. In addition, the requirement and applicable international agreement and law should be complied with. Spillage should be cleaned up as soon as possible to prevent possible contamination. Cross-contamination and hazardous writing procedure and should be in place of the hinting of such as occurrences. Physical and other equivalent, etc. Electronic segregation should be provided for storage and distribution during transit or registered. Despite the recall and return medicinal product suspected counterfeit, the product should be appropriately identified securely, packaging and cleaning, labeling, and accompanied by the appropriate supporting documentation. The interiors of the vehicle and containers should remain clean and dry while medicinal products are in transit. Packaging materials and shipment containers should be suitable designed to prevent damage of medicinal products during transport. Seal control programs should be in place and managers property play. Driver of vehicle should identify themselves and present appropriate documentation to demonstrate that they are authorized to transport of the load. Damage to containers and any other event problem that occur during transit must be recorded and reported to the relevant department, entity, or authorities investigated. Medicinal products in transit must be accompanied by the appropriate documentation. Winter where mention prevent identity asset losses. Cái từ mình lấy đó ta. Authorization, documentation, vision all time by law. We call accident. They have okay. Must be accompanied, isn't it? Must be accompanied by the appropriate documentation. Written instruction and recall, which document all the activities relating to the distribution of the mentioned products, including all the applicable receipts and issue invoice should be available. Record should be kept for 7 years unless otherwise described by law. Distributors should be keep record of all the medicinal products received. Record should contain at least the following information: name of the medicinal product, streets, content, packaging specification, marketing authorization, certificate of analysis, manufacturer's date, batch number, expiry date, name of manufacturer's importer, supplier, quantity, receive, date of receipt, record, name of address, telephone, email, if any, of the buyer, quantity, dispatched for sale, and date of dispatch, medicinal product delivery food. Procedure should be established. Procedure should be established and maintained for the preparation, review, approval, use, and control of the change to all the document relating to the distribution. Procedures must be in place for the both internally generated document and those from external resources. Document and in particular instructions and procedure relating to any activity and that could have an impact on the quality and medicinal product should be designed, complete, reviewed, and distributed with care. The title, nature, and purpose of each document should be clearly stated. The content of the document should be clear and unambiguous. Documents should be laid out in order, fashion, and be easy to check. All documents should be completed, approved, signed, and acquired and dated and an appropriate authorized person and should not be changed without a necessary authorization. The distributor must establish and maintain procedure for the identification, collection, assessment, retrieval, storage, maintenance, disposal, and access of all the applicable documentation. All the record must be readily retrievable and stored and retained using facilities that are safeguarded against unauthorized modification, damage, deterioration, and lost to documentation. Documents should be reviewed regularly and keep up to date. When a document has been revised, a system should exist to prevent inadvertent use of the subdated version. There should be a computer connected to the internet and software should be used to manage distribution activity. Mechanisms should exist to allow the transfer for information, including quality and regulatory information between a manufacturer and customer, as well as the transfer of the information of the prevalent regulatory authority as required. Record relating to storage of medicinal products should be kept and be readily available above required in accordance with the WHO guidelines on good storage practice and pharmaceuticals. Permanent recall written electromet should exist for each storage product, indicating recommendation recommended storage condition, any precaution to be observed, and retest date, pharmacopoeial requirement, and document national regulation concerns. Label on container should be respected and all at all time. Documents relating to narcotics, psychotropics, precursors, compiled medicinal product containing narcotics active ingredient, compiled medicinal products contain psychotropic activity ingredient, compiled medicinal products contain precursor, toxic medicinal products, toxic medicinal products and active ingredient on the list of banned substance in the sentence. Fields are described by law. Okay. By law, procedure should be in place or temperatures mapping security services to prevent theft or tampering with goods at the storage facility, destruction of unsellable or usable stocks, and on retention of the records where the records are generated and kept in electronic form. Backups should be maintained to prevent any accident data loss. Data loss. Okay. Repackages and labeling of the medicinal product should be limited, as these practice may represent a risk to the safety and security of the substance. Where they do accuse, they should only be performed by the entities appropriately authorized to do so, it in compliance with the applicable GMP principle. In the event of the repackages by the companies other than our original manufacturers, the operation should resort of at least equivalent means of the identification and authentication of the products. Procedure should be in place for the secure disposal of original packaging. Complaints. There should be written procedure in place or the handling of the complaint. A distinction should be made between the complaint about the product, its package, and those relating to distribution. In the case of the complaint about the quality of the product or its packaging, the original manufacturer or marketing authorization holder should be informed as soon as possible. All the complaints and other information concerning potential defective and potentially counterfeit medicinal products should be reviewed carefully according to written procedure describing the action to be taken, include the need to consider recall where appropriate. Any complaint concerning a material defect should be recorded and thoroughly investigated to identify the origin or reason for the complaint, etc. Repackaging procedures or original manufacturing process. If a defect relating to a medicinal product is discovered or suspected, consideration should be given to whether all the package of the product should also be checked. Product quality product quality problem. For suspected cases of counterfeit products should be uh, documented and information should be shared with the competent authorities. 17. Recourse. There should be a system which included the written procedure to defectively and prompted recall mention product known and suspected to be defective or counterfeit with a decided to person responsible for recall. The system should comply with the guidance issued by the regulatory authorized authority. This procedure should be checked regularly and updated as necessary. The original manufacturers and marketing authorization holder should be informed in the event of the recall. When a recall instituted by the entity other than the original manufacturer and or the marketing authorization holder, consultation with the original manufacturers and marketing authorization holder should, where possible, display before the recalls and instituted. Information on the recall should be shared with the appropriate regulatory authority if a recall of the original product is necessary because of the counterfeit product which is not easily distinguishable from original products. The manufacturers of the original product and the relevant health authorities should be informed. The effectiveness of the arrangement for recall should be evaluated at regular interval, or the requirement medicinal products should be stored in the secure, segregated area pending appropriate action. Recalled medicinal products should be segregated during transit and clearly labeled as recall products where segregation in transit is not possible. Such goods must be securely packaged, clearly labeled, and accompanied by appropriate documentation. The particular storage condition applicable to medicinal products which is subject to recall should be maintained during storage and transit until such time and decision has been made regarding the fate of the product in question. All customer and competent health are authorities of the area to which is given national product may have been distributed should be informed promptly, and any intention to recall the product because it is or suspected to be defective, counterfeit. The progress if the recall process should be recorded and final report issued, which includes the reconciliation between the delivered and recovered quality of products. When necessary, an emergency recall procedure should be implemented. Return products. A distributor should receive medicinal product return exchange pursuant to the term and condition and agreement between the distributor and recipient. Both distributor and recipient should be accountable for administering their return process and ensuring that the aspects of this operation are secure and do not permit the entry of the counterfeit products. The necessary assessment and decision regarding of the disposition of the such products must be made by a suitably authorized person. The nature of the products, return of the distributor, any special storage condition required, its condition and histories at the time elapsed since it was issued should all be taken into account in this assessment. Where any doubt arises over the quality of the medicinal product, it should not be considered suitable for reissue, reissue or reuse. A provision should be made for appropriate and safe transport of returned products in accordance with relevant storage and other requirements. Rejected medicinal product and those returned to distribution should be appropriately identified and handled in accordance with procedures which involve at least in the physical segregation of such medicinal products in quantities in dedicated area or another equivalent, etc. Electronic segregation. Provision should be made of the appropriate and safe transport reject medicinal products prior to their disposable. Destruction of the medicinal products should be done according with regulation of the law regarding disposal of the such products and with due consideration to protection and environment. Recall all the returned, rejected, and destroyed medicinal products should be kept for a predetermined period. Thank you for listening. And I feel so tired in my mouth, but I try to my pronunciation become better. Bye bye.